The job of true journalists is to distrust large institutions.
We're all about hitting the pavement, really going out there and doing the work, putting pencil to paper.
Our readers know that every bit of information they read in the Fairhaven Journal News Pulse has been gleaned through eyewitness reports, on-site reporting,
Integrity.
and integrity. We never send an email. All of our sources we speak to on the telephone, or we preferably interview in person.
Everything is done on a landline with a wire that we can see.
We don't use computers because what if the government took over the system? Then how are you going to have a free press?
Every copy is hand-typed because you can't trust a laser printer. You can't trust lasers. I don't think I've seen a computer in 5 years.
I would never want to.
We actually have an extremely talented sketch artist.
It's me, I'm the sketch artist. The images in our paper have not been doctored. I witnessed it, and I drew every image.
If there are no pixels, you can't see that there's been tampering.
This is a blimp fire. I come into the office, and in the mailbox is a letter. Unsigned, no return address. It turns out that the stoplight on the corner of 1st and Main, 4 seconds longer than every other light in town. We go undercover. We start timing every stoplight.
Every single one.
It was a little bit long.
We took it to the city council and we actually got a vote on it.
Nothing came of it, but stoplight stymies local drivers.
The sprinkler downing. We were able to track down the culprit. There was a local programmer who was at fault for it. Overloaded the system and everything caught fire and there was smoke. And that's why none of the sprinklers worked for that whole day.
And we were heartbroken that there was so much death and destruction.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult for us.
It was terrible. That's when Mrs. McNamara signed on.
We're very proud of our circulation. We're up to 84.
You heard of the graffiti artist? The breasts seem to be a replica of the breasts of our town secretary.
Of course, one hopes that something like this wouldn't reach as high into the government, but we have our fears.
I think the people of Fairhaven don't even know what they don't know. And if there's not somebody in town committed to digging up the truth every single day with the shovel of justice,
it's our job to keep that shovel sharp, to keep it shiny. I worked at the Detroit Free Press for many years, and I decided to leave and start my own enterprise because I felt like their level of journalistic integrity, while good, wasn't up to my standards.
When I first started subscribing to the Journal News Pulse, I was like, this is what I've been looking for. This is the meaningfulness that I have been searching for in a job and in a career. Working with Karen Jackson, editor-in-chief, has changed my entire life. Karen is a visionary.
Sharon is an extremely helpful assistant.
Karen is a thought leader.
She is a very fast typist.
I think that she will be the editor-in-chief of the New York Times and the Washington Post.
She wears a lot of lipstick.
Oh man, when Karen thinks of me, I hope she thinks loyal. I hope she thinks plucky.
She's about 5'3".
Industrious.
Dirty blonde.
Tunnel-visioned.
Her eyes are huge. Like an uncomfortably large set of eyes.
On a typical day, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I hop on my bike to deliver the Journal News Pulse.
I wake up usually between 10 and 11:30. I walk around the neighborhood, see what there is to see, pet some dogs.
I start building my source library, start building my 360-degree understanding.
I usually read. I have an extensive library. Sharon is actually working on transcribing all of my books to audio books.
Once I've done that, I go home, I sit down at my typewriter, I crank out the stories for the upcoming day's edition. That takes me until about midnight. I go to bed, wake up again at 4.
I feel like the paper is doing well.
When people get that paper on their stoop, it makes them feel alive, it makes them feel cared for, and it makes them appreciate journalism. Marlowe ceased and sat apart, indistinct and silent in the pose of a meditating Buddha. Nobody moved for a time. "We've lost the first of the ebb," said the director suddenly. I raised my head. The offing was barred by a black bank of clouds, and the tranquil waterway leading to the uttermost ends of the earth flowed somber under an overcast sky, seemed to lead into the heart of an immense darkness.